Hey guys, Gabe Eltaeb here, Big Man Comics. I'm going to walk you how I letter a page for the Tyrus comic. Now, typically I will letter the book after it's been colored. The whole book has been drawn. About 50 pages have been colored by these amazing guys that I've got to work on it. So I don't have to color it. But since I'm past the pages they've finished for coloring, I'm going to have to letter the rest of the book in black and white. And then when their colors come in, I will pop those in underneath. So I'm taking the black and white page. This is like page 42 or something like that. And in this scene, you have Riley. He's the older guy with the light hair. You have Tyrus, the giant behemoth Hulk hero. You have Cindy, his former girlfriend who dumped him, but they got to go on a quest to save their friend. They've just had dinner at Riley's giant compound. He has all kinds of vehicles and weapons. He's a former special ops guy, former pro wrestler, former Marine. He's an awesome dude. He's an older guy. He's Tyrus's mentor. And they had a peaceful dinner, making their plans, setting out in the morning to go do some stuff to get on the hunt for the bad guys. And so now I got to write the dialogue for this page. And I never write dialogue almost ever when I write the scripts. I just write what's happening, like a narration. And I do write emotion, and I will write a line of dialogue if it's important that I make a note of it then. But on this page, what has happened is they've just had dinner. They're going to go to their rooms, shower up, get some sleep, head out early in the morning. But there's tension because Cindy dumped Tyrus because he's always a screw-up. He screwed up his career. He's been in jail. He's, all kinds of romantic tension between the two of them, years of dating. Him always promising that he's going to change, and he's never changed. Now, even though she's his ex-girlfriend, she's gone on this quest with him because it's noble and they need to save the world, and she knows she can really help. So here's how I'm going to do the dialogue here. They just had barbecue hamburgers outside on the page 4. So so what I do is I take the black and white TIFF at full size. That's the image here. Then, to help my eyes, I put this semi-transparent yellow layer over it. I will throw that away when I'm done, but you don't want to be staring at things that are bright white, black and white like that. You don't want to stare at that all day. So I always put yellow down. I lock the layer, and then I have a layer for letters and layer for balloons. So I have a sample of the correct font typeface that I'm going to use in the correct size. It's Wild and Crazy 6 point. That's all my books are that way. And I'm going to have Riley say... And whenever you start a scene in a book, in a movie, in a comic, whatever, in any story you're writing, never start the scene in the beginning. Always start the scene in the middle or at the end. Because when you do that, it gives the audience's imagination all the room it needs to fill in everything that came before based on the context of what's happening and what your characters are currently saying. And the imagination is perfect. So the way the audience will fill in what I don't say will feel perfect and of the highest quality when it comes to storytelling. So every scene I always start at mid-scene, and I start at mid-sentence. A lot of times I'll be like, yeah, and that's why I'm saying blah, blah, blah. And the reader has to fill in the context here. So here he's going to say, 8 burgers. 8 burgers. Okay, so Tyrus ate a lot. So he's going to say, 8 burgers. I haven't seen you eat that much since you were in your 20s, So I always, so the default text when I go to click text is some typeface I don't like, and I'm not sure how to change it. There's probably a way to change it. So I always paste in, a thing from the correct typeface. So I haven't, you got to spell correctly, dude, seen you eat that much since you were in your 20s. So now we know what happened before they got to the staircase here, right? So now I'm going to kind of shape these kind of like an oval. And I do have an oval here, and it's on I have another sheet of letters and sound effects and all this stuff. And I save this one because this is the word balloon I always use. So I'm gonna throw in the word balloons later. And so he says, 8 burgers. I haven't seen you eat that much since you were in your 20s. And then Tyrus is going to respond and say, yeah, since the, I got to spell yeah correct. EAH, yeah. Since the change, I've been hungry non-stop. Now, so every bit of dialogue you write has to reflect the mindset and the characters and their personalities. I want to put that one here. There's a light in the hallway there. I don't want to cover it with this. So I'm going to put it over here and cover some of these leaves. It's less important. Try to get the letters here higher than these, or at least the same height, because when they're lower, it can throw off the way the reader might read them. So he says, yeah, since the change, I've been hungry nonstop. Now, since his girlfriend has tension with him, she loves him, but she had to break up with him. It was just years of broken promises, this and the other. What am I going to have her say? And Everything I'm writing, guys, I'm thinking of it right now live while I'm making this video. I did not write this script ahead of time as far as the dialogue goes. I just wrote the ideas of what happens in the story. I love to write this way. I have a talent, a skill for improv. I can just make stuff up off the top of my head instantly, and it really works. If you've read my books before, that dialogue, I think the dialogue I write is outstanding. It's real, and I have so much fun writing it, and I hope that shows. So what she's going to say here is more like hangry, and we'll capitalize it so it italicizes. So that's her taking a little stab at him. You know, she's not busting his balls all day, but she's, you know, she remembers that she's mad at him every once in a while, you know. Hold on, I need a drink here. And Riley would say, here are your, and then I'll capitalize, separate. Here are your separate rooms. No hanky-panky in my house. Here are your separate rooms. No hanky-panky in my house. And then Tyrus will say, hanky-panky? Oh, no, I broke up with her. You know, so now he's lying because she dumped him way back on, like, page 9 of the book or whatever. Hanky-panky? Oh, no, I broke up with her. And then she's going to be like, oh, is that how it was? Oh, is that how it was? Right? So she's kind of like, she's not directly calling him out, but she's doing that little passive-aggressive thing like, hey, I know you're lying, and it's pathetic that you're lying. But he's sticking to his guns here. He's going to say, that's how I remember it. That's how I remember it. And then Riley's just like, you know, you ever seen like a parent yell at your friend when you went over to their house in high school? Or a married couple fight at a dinner, and it just makes you feel awkward? What would Riley say? What's his response here? So I write the script, and then we do the drawing, and we kind of put acting into it, and we come up like what action, reaction, but we don't know what they're saying exactly. So it's really fun to look at the character's face now, and what is he saying here? So he doesn't like this, but he's just kind of laughing at the two of them. Oh, I know what he'll say. He'll say, ah, young love. So it's just a real smart alecky. No. Ah, to be young and in love. That's better. Since he's older and they're young and being stupid, he's just mocking. And it's showing that he's a very stoic, relaxed guy. So see, everything you say, you don't just write dialogue because it makes you laugh. You write it because it works, it's clever, it's natural what someone would say. And it agrees. It has verisimilitude with the character of the person saying it. So since he's an older ex-Marine, ex-special operator, ex-pro wrestler, he's very masculine. So he's not going to lose his cool, right? He's not going to freak out because they're freaking out. He's going to laugh it off. He's going to tease them, make fun of them. So here you got there. Look at her body language there in the second to last panel. Her back is arched and she's walking into the room, and Tyrus is stomping in all mad. So I think she's going to be like, have a great night. And he's like, you too. And she'll be like, sweet dreams. And then he'll say something, you know, I hope yours are sweeter, or something like, oh, okay, I got it. Have a good night, right? So she's mad. And then he'll say, don't let the bed bugs bite. You know, Tyrus isn't dumb. But we play a little bit into the meathead character of a big wrestler, football player guy. He's not a dumb guy. He's a brilliant guy. But we kind of play into that a little bit because it's a little bit of what the audience expects. And I suspect that if this were real life, it would be a little bit of what he also suspected subconsciously because of expectation. So we play into don't let the bed bugs bite, which isn't as clever as hers. You know what I mean? So she'll have a good night. Sweet dreams. And what should he say here? Have a good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Sweet dreams. And then he should say, I hope yours are sweeter. Right? We always got to spell yours correctly. If you hear rumbling, there's like a F-15 flying by my house. I live in San Diego. I don't know if you can hear it. The microphone's picking that up, but it is loud. Okay, so now I've got my lettering done. I think I've got it placed where I want it. So now I'm going to go into the balloons. I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to cut it and then paste it everywhere I want it, right? So I paste it down, and then I grab it, and I'm going to change its size. Then I'll copy and paste again and again. And I'll just keep doing that until I'm done. 8 burgers. I haven't seen you eat that much since you were in your 20s. Okay, so here we go. Paste another one. And then we'll build the tails, and I'll show you how to do that. I haven't seen you eat that much since you were in your 20s. So that line of dialogue there is not just throwaway. You're finding out that Riley has known Tyrus for a long time. I haven't seen you eat that much since you were 20. Should it be, I haven't seen you eat that much since you were a teenager? No, we'll just say 20s. And you got to put a period at the end of the sentence, Gabe. Period. And this burgers, it's a little too close. This bubble and words are a little too close to that one. Oops. So we'll grab both and we'll scoot them off here. There. Because this word was ending up in this bubble. So I had to move it. So then I click this one, copy paste, get another bubble. Yeah, since the change, I've been hungry nonstop. Now, I've already referenced that twice on other pages. So again, that gives the story verisimilitude where the story is agreeing with itself. You want to have internal consistency no matter how crazy. Time travel, dragons, mutants, whatever you put in your story. And I see a rogue period in the middle of that word. Hangry. So she's like, yeah, since the change, I've been hungry nonstop. More like hangry. You know, she's kind of saying it under her breath. Because she's, she loves him, and then she hates him. And then she loves him, and she hates him. And her ultimate frustration with him is he's a good man. He wants to do the right thing, but he's reckless. He's reckless. He does stupid things without thinking, and it has hurt both of their lives. And you'll see when you get a hold of the book. That's kind of the theme of this book. It's something Tyrus and I spoke about on the phone. We were developing this character, is that he and I both struggled with impulsivity and anger and doing stupid crap because of how you felt in the moment. And Tyrus thought it'd be a great idea to have that be the message of this story, that's the character arc for Tyrus, the character. That he's a great guy who does some really dumb things because he doesn't think it through. He just gets mad or gets passionate or whatever and then acts, and then later, oh gosh, there's consequences. Here are your separate rooms. No hanky-panky in my house. Riley's old school, you know what I mean? He likes the ladies, but hey, it's not a brothel. You two sleep, you over there, you over there. And then a Tyrus to save his wounded pride because he got dumped. And people who get dumped, it makes people feel bad. They don't want to get dumped. They want to be the dumper, right? So he's hanky-panky. Oh, no, I broke up with her. And I'll italicize the word her. So it comes off like, I broke up with her, right? And then that makes her mad. But being a woman, she's conniving, calculating. She's got that great thing women have where they know the mental game so much better than men. It's just so I need to put an ellipsis in there. And guys, an ellipsis is 3 periods only. I've seen ellipsis with like 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 3. That's how that works. Oh, is that how it was? And I think that should be italicized to kind of, is that how it was? Right? He's like, hanky-panky. Oh, no, I broke up with her. Oh, is that how it was? And then he's over here like, that's how I remember it. He's just doubling down on his lie here, right? If you're married or you've had a girlfriend for any amount of time, you've had these kind of arguments, right? That's why I'm laughing. Like, I've been married almost 30 years. And my wife is just a darling. She's an angel from heaven. I do love her. And she is not crazy. Like a lot of women can be a little kooky. My wife doesn't have those tendencies. But you've all had an argument with a woman when she is being emotional and unreasonable. We've all had it. And then you yourself are the meathead and getting mad and have a good night. Don't let the bedbugs out. That is such a cheesy line. I hate that line, but I'm leaving it in because it's so cheesy. Sweet dreams, slams the door. Hope, now I got to take the I out of that sentence. Sweet dreams. And then he says, I hope yours are sweet. No, I'll leave the I in. Hope yours are sweeter. I hope yours are sweeter. Is it I? Sweet dreams. I hope yours are sweeter. Yeah, I'll leave the I in. Okay. So that is how I write dialogue, guys. I know the plot of the page. I know what's happening. I know the characters. I know their personality. I know their motivation. I know the scene. I know the scenes that came before. I know the scenes that need to come. But would it be better down here? No. It needs to be up where it was. Get off the door a little bit. I want to see this corner of the door architecture and that corner. But I don't want to cover that word slam. That's a drawn-in sound effect. We usually don't draw the sound effects in, but we did on this page. Now I'm going to put the tails on the balloons, right? So I use the pen tool, and here's what you do. You click toward the mouth of the character, Then you click in here, and then you pull it. And see that line with the ball, the control handles? That ball tells you where the tension of the bend of the line goes. So I'm going to bend it. Then I'm going to click that to stop the bend. And then I'm going to click up here. I'm going to click over here and then pull it. And then that creates a tail. Now, I don't like exactly where that's pointing. So I'm going to rotate it with V, the selection tool. I'm going to go like that. Okay. So then I got to do that. And you don't always have to bend them. Sometimes you could just do a straight triangle. Just make sure it's actually thick enough, because if they're too thin, they'll look funny. And then, let's see. This one calls for a curved one. And I never put the curve right on the corner of the balloon. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I always want to show the 4 rounded corners. So I think just for a minute, you could do it. It won't change anything. But I think putting it on the corner can look a little funny, like doing stuff like that. So I put it about there, and it's roughly pointing at his mouth. Now, I don't want the tip of this pointer to touch the edge of that plant leaf. So I'm going to back it off. You don't want to create weird tension like that, you know. So, and then Tyrus's head is off the page, so we'll just go up like that towards where his head would be. Hold on, let me start that over. I double-clicked. And then, okay, so now she's like, oh, is that how it was? Right? I think this is a great page. I think it's very funny. And I think that the Marvel movies, the reason I've always hated them is there's too much corny humor. It's really like Big Bang Theory kind of writing to me. It's awful writing. And I don't blame the writer of the movie that's credited, because I guarantee you that's not what they wrote. That is writing by committee, by Hollywood executive. That's 9 people that have VP in their title at Disney writing the quote-unquote jokes in the Iron Man movie. And they're like, oh, I got my joke in there. I got my joke in there. Guys, when you work for the giant companies, that's a lot of what goes on, man, is people who are not qualified to do this putting their finger on things, and they really shouldn't. So, and then, okay, so we're almost done. I'm going to check. This balloon needs to grow a little bit on the bottom. It's too close to the word sweeter. So I go back and I look at the balloons, make sure there's enough white space around the letters or not too much. See, this one has a little bit too much, I think, on the sides. Okay, there we go. So I check on my balloons. Now what I do is I lock the layers except for the balloon layer. The balloons are on their own layers. I hit Select A. I select all the balloons because they need an outline. I go to Properties, Stroke. I go to a 0.75 stroke, and then I go Cap, Corner, Align. So they all have that style. Everything. Now look at this. Let's move the letters. There's a major problem. Let's move the words. Look at every word balloon here. Hold on. Let's move the letters. Look at, now we cannot have that, right? Where the balloon tails are in there. That's horrible. So here's what you do. You use the selection tool and you select a balloon or a group of balloons and their tail, and then over in the Pathfinder, which is, you click this right here, Unite. Boom. And you do each one individually. You could do them all at once, but then if you try to move one, it'll move all of them. Unite. Unite. Oops, didn't mean to move it. Select, unite, and the letter layer is locked. Over here, I lock every layer except for the balloons. Unite. 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 We're going to say it a few more times. Unite. Unite. And unite. Okay, so now I'm going to take off that yellow protective layer and I'm going to get a look at the page. How does it look? And then I'll be done. And don't worry about the red autocorrect stuff. That's telling me to capitalize words and stuff like that. But this font, this typeface, everything is capitalized. So the computer's not understanding what I'm doing here. So let's read it. Let's give it a once over. 8 burgers. I haven't seen you eat that much since you were in your 20s. Yeah, since the change, I've been hungry nonstop. More like hangry. Here are your separate rooms. No hanky-panky in my house. Hanky-panky? Oh, no, I broke up with her. Oh, is that how it was? That's how I remember it. Ah, to be young and in love. Have a good night. Don't let the bedbugs bite. Sweet dreams. I hope yours are sweeter. Slam. Great page. Congratulations to me. Yeah, no, that works. Guys, order the Unstoppable Tyrus. Go to bigmancomics.com. Get Empyrean Earth Limited. Get Dean Cain All-American Llama. Get all the stuff we have there. Awesome t-shirts. We are making real art, and you are making it happen by backing us, by promoting everything we do, by the likes, by the retweets, all of it. I can't do this without you. I can't make this fun stuff without you. So please go to bigmancomics.com and order everything we have. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.